Okay, good evening, everyone. That's for the Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Parashat Bechukotai, the last parasha on this Chumash, Parashat Bechukotai, and there's a lot of things to talk about this parasha. The parasha basically talks about very similar to Parashat Kitavot. It starts with the blessings if we follow the commandments, and then after we follow the commandments, we talk about the curses. Shema, Kitavot, and then different other commandments that at the end of the parasha we talk about, such as Erechin. Erechin is when a person wants to give donation, and he says, "I will give donation the value of this person, the value of this animal." So then the Torah goes into the details. The Torah speaks about what the value, how can he do it, what's the right procedure. But that I don't think we're going to talk about. We're going to maybe focus more on the blessings, as we know. We love to focus on the blessings. So let's start from the very beginning. The first pasuk is Im Bechukotai telechu, vet mitzvotai tishmoru, ve'asitem otam. So basically the pasuk is saying, if you follow my decree and you follow my decree and you observe my commandments, and you will perform them. So immediately we see that the first pasuk is divided into 3 parts: is decrees, commandments, and performing those commandments. And of course, the obvious question is, why are we dividing the commandments, the decrees, into 3 parts? It's again a redundant word, like Parashat Emor, as we discussed 2 weeks ago. Emor v'amalta, the redundant word. Why are we saying to say and to say? Can you tell something without saying? Can you say something without telling? A similar question we asked in this parasha: is the commandments without decrees or without performing them? Can you follow the commandments? Can you walk and perform those commandments without observing mitzvot? So why are we repeating the same thing again and again and again and again? So that leads to 42 different interpretations that we can find in the Ochaim HaKadosh. I don't think the article will bring those 42 explanations, but let's at least start and we'll see where we get to. Yeah, we'll start with those 42 interpretations. But first we have the first. But of course, we have to describe who was the Ochaim HaKadosh. Who was the Ochaim HaKadosh? The Ochaim HaKadosh, his name is Rabbi Chaim ben Atar. He was born 300 years ago in Morocco, and he approximately was the time of the Baal Shem Tov. And there's an interesting story that they were supposed to meet, and they said that if they will meet each other, there will be the Mashiach. Long story, but let's focus on the story that associated with these 42 explanations. The story is that Rabbi Chaim ben Atar every Friday will give out meat. He will gather all the meat from all the factories and kosher meat, of course, and he will give it over to the poor people, to the needy. One Friday, all the factories, all the places it turned out to be non-kosher, I guess, because there was a common ground, I guess, between all those factories, the knife, and so on. But the only one that was kosher is in his factory. And so there was a very small amount of meat that he can give for other people. So he really focused on those that need meat, the poor people. And there was like 2 people coming at the same time. There was the very rich person that's saying, "Yeah, I wanted to give me the meat. I'm a wealthy person. I give a lot of contributions, give money. I want you to help. I want to take meat." So he said, "Look, I'm very sorry. I really respect you, but there is a poor guy that needs to come, and he needs the meat. And he's a Tim Chacham. He needs the meat for Shabbat. I want to give him this meat." So this rich person, "Hey, welcome. Oh, Leo, good to see you back. Shalom, shalom." So this rich person said, "Who do you think you are? What are you giving this man? I'm telling you I'm rich. You're giving this meat to this poor person?" I said, "No, that's what we do." So he started to speak in a disrespectful manner to this poor person. But the Ochaim HaKadosh didn't rebuke him. He kept quiet. And when he went into sleep, he has this vision, this chalom that says, "Look, it's terrible what this rich person did. It was embarrassing this poor person. So we have to go in exile and fix the sin." So Chaim accepted, and he went out and he went to an exile. Or Chaim HaKadosh, because he kept quiet. He didn't rebuke this person. He's telling him, don't speak this in a disrespectful manner to other people. So he went and he had this. Long story short, he went and he really didn't. He was sleeping, and he got this vision, and he received those 42 different interpretations of the meaning of this first pasuk. Long story short, the idea of exile is the same day that you were, it was one person, you cannot be the same person with the same day. You have to do it a different place, different. So every day he's going to a different person. So Friday he went to one person, but he was chopping wood, and he went to this place, the shul, and the rabbi is there, and after a week, I tell him 5 minutes. But I have to tell, this Shabbat is a special Shabbat. You can't just give me 5 minutes. I have to give 10 minutes. So why? Because I have this vision that I had this dream of 14 interpretations from the Orachem HaKadosh. And this rabbi stood there and started to give this pirushim again. They get to 14 pirushim interpretations. And Orachem HaKadosh was sitting there. And he was saying, okay, from who did you receive all those 14 interpretations? From Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the great rabbi, the holy rabbi, Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar. Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar saying that. So he's not holy, he's not rabbi, he's Chaim Ben Atar. What are you saying? How can you disrespect this great rabbi? So his host told him, please don't say anything. Just he started to protect him. So the people were very upset. Well, how can he speak? The day after, again, the rabbi said had his dream, and I saw in my dream 14 different interpretations for the meaning of this pasuk. He started to explain for all the 14 pasukim, and he says those 14 interpretations. Later on you make later on you make calculation. Then Debbie, sorry. Then confusing me. Okay, just then another 14 interpretations, and he's saying this is from Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar, and again he's saying he's not rabbi, he's not kadosh, he's a simple person, Chaim Ben Atar. Then you got to pray upset. Okay, the third time, again 14 interpretations from Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar altogether now calculation 42. Good. Okay, good. And again he said Chaim Ben Atar. This time they were very upset. They couldn't put him in jail, and they didn't allow him to do anything. And the rabbis sit together to see how we solve this problem. This chatzuf, this rude person, is disrespecting the great rabbi Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar. Okay, it's time to make Havdalah. They make Havdalah, but they can hear lots of noise outside, thunder, lightning outside. They open the door, there's nothing outside. They go inside, they hear a lot of lightning and thunder from outside. What's going on? Something weird. So this rabbi find out that the person that they put in this jail is not other than Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar. They open the door, forgive us. And that time, he came to Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar in the dream and told him, you end with your galut, and you can go back home. And that's how you have this 42 different interpretations. It's good sometimes to go out to exile. Yeah. So let's see what the starts. So let's start with the first one. The first pirush, he quotes Rashi. As we explained, we said, what's the point of saying the same thing twice? Observing mitzvot and following my commandments. So Rashi explains, and Rashi quotes Torah Kohanim, that says that the first part is referring to Amala Torah, learning Torah, being engaged in Torah. You cannot follow the commandments, you cannot observe my Torah if you're not learning Torah. First we have to learn, that's the first floor. The second floor is lilmod, ulamed, lishmor, v'lasot. After that, you can fulfill my mitzvah. You say a pious person cannot observe Torah, not keep Torah. Even if he wants to be pious, he cannot be pious because he's not learning. He doesn't know what to do. Okay, so that's the first interpretation of the Orachem HaKadosh. Now, interesting, the Orachem HaKadosh has another book. The second book is called Rishon LeZion. Rishon LeZion, it says, "Yitzavenu litroach b'Torah להשיג עומקם, לא לשטחיות הדברים, אלא החוכמה התבוננות בה." So what's the definition of Amala Torah? Learning Torah. It's not just to read the text and understand the text. We all want to read the text in English, Hebrew, it doesn't matter. But to understand the things that between the words, the depths of Torah, that's what we have to learn. That's where we bring all the great new laws. Because you cannot bring new laws if you don't look in depths. I want to give you an example this week, between the lines. For example, this week, we have a beautiful group of 7 children. Yeah, this part of them are here. Every day we learn 3 hours. And we learn the Gemara. We read Rashi, we read Tosfot. We don't see there's any argument. But we start to dig into Rashi, we start digging into Tosfot, then finally we find that there is an argument between Rashi and Tosfot. Yeah. And if there's an argument, we have to explain why is Rashi disagree with Tosfot, Tosfot disagree with Rashi. And with this argument, we develop new halachot. As the rabbi says, a knife cannot be sharp if you don't use another knife. Ask all the experts, all the chefs, they will tell you a good knife is if you make it sharp by using another knife. Yeah, but it hurts him. But you're challenging this knife, so to speak. But no, you make this knife sharp by using another knife, right? Asking questions, disturbing the rabbi. One of the 48 ways of acquiring Torah, of learning Torah in Pirkei Avot, and the Or HaChaim also spoke about, is that the students should not give easy life to the rabbis. Yeah, not give easy life, not easy life. Yeah, but Debbie, we have to learn. We have to think about how exactly how to do it. Okay, that's the first interpretation of the Or HaChaim. Don't forget, we have 42. So Shavuot is few days, but maybe we should start getting ready because we have 42. No, I'm joking. I guess we're gonna go through 5 or 6 interpretations. The second one of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh is Telechu. Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, כלומר, זאת תהיה ההליכה שלהם. זה יהפוך לטבעי כמו ההליכה שלי. Says, you have to, he says, he brings David HaMelech. The story is David HaMelech. David HaMelech was saying, I will walk. The Tehillim says, I'm walking to the store. My wife is still telling me, go buy fish, go buy things. But then I find myself in shore because he's enthusiastic, because he was very enthusiastic. He was, whenever he will leave the house, he wanted to go to shore, want to Bet Knesset. So it says, David HaMelech. בחקותי תלכו, it says, whenever you go out, whenever you leave the house, many times we go, okay, we want to go to shore, but we find ourselves sometimes eating in Modi or Glat 27, eating food, getting ready to learn, but don't learn. So no, so when you're walking, feel this excitement. Like David HaMelech, he's going to shul, he's going to learn, and that's why he says בחקותי תלכו. That's David HaMelech. Okay, there's a lot to talk about it, but we want to continue with the third one. The third one is, Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, you can see it, I have it here also. Or HaChaim HaKadosh says that there is 4 parts in the Torah: Pshat, Remez, Drash, Sod. Of course, we know there's a simple understanding, there's hints, there's numerical values, there's in depths, the Kabbalistic perspective. So all those things, Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, secret learning yet. So Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, learn all those things and telechu. Don't be satisfied with one part of Torah, but telechu cover all different types of perspectives. That's what the committee was trying to tell me. You should try to give stories, Torah, laws, Gemara, a bit of sod. So I was telling sod, secrets. I have to have a bit of more white hair in order to teach Kabbalah. I'm not yet ready for that. But that's the understanding of it. So the source of the committee is from the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. It says you have to cover all the different pardes, like it's in the field that you teach everything. That's בחקותי תלכו. Walk all around. 4. Let's talk about 4. You will love this one. Or HaChaim HaKadosh says the lechet זה קודם ללכת הליכה כפשוטה. נפש בריאה בגוף בריא. It says in order to learn Torah, you have to have a healthy soul and a healthy physical body. Don't neglect your body. Don't think, we're learning Torah, let's do this. No, there's a interesting, different 2 approaches of Slavotka and Novardok. Slavotka, there's people that come from Slavotka, Saba Slavotka, the Finkel family. They believe that you should dress nice, you should cut your beard, you should wear a nice jacket, shining shoes. You should look like a king. And when they choose a tie, it takes them an hour to choose a tie. This color. Why? Because I'm a king. I'm a son of a king. I'm learning Torah. That's a Slavotka. That's a Slavotka approach. Right. The Novardok approach is to be simple, very, very simple. Go to the cemetery. Go to the pharmacy and ask for nails. Be a simple person, be stupid, and people will disrespect you, and then, yep. So the two approaches. Chaim HaKadosh says he prefers the approach of a healthy soul, a healthy body, and if you need to walk, if you need to ride a bike, if you need to be healthy, because if you're not going to be healthy, you will not be able to learn Torah. Okay? So Bechukotai telechu. Be careful, be aware that your body needs to, you need to be strong, you need to do what a doctor says, and then you should learn. Huh? No, I mean, not what the doctor says. Do what we have to do. Yeah. Okay, that's the fourth one. Okay, the fifth one. Yeah, the fifth one. Let's continue. Good. Telechu. Let's continue with one. I'm doing it very short. Telechu, because we have 42. Telechu. What is telechu? He says another one. We know that Chaim HaKadosh was in the time of the Karaites. The Rambam also was the time of the Karaites. I think he was arguing with them constantly in Egypt. There's some Karaites in Russia, some Karaites in Egypt. So the Rambam really accept them. They said, if you repent, if you become part of us, we'll accept you. But they didn't believe in the oral Torah, they believed in the written Torah. And the Chaim HaKadosh was also living in that generation, in the Karaites. And there's a story of
You said he lived 300 years ago. Rambam did not live
so I said
200
two generations at the time of the Rambam. He was living close to the Karaites, and 300 years ago. Two different times. Yeah.
Okay.
So he said,
So he
says, it's not just to follow the commandments, but to really to understand, to give the proper interpretation to the commandments. Because there's 70 ways of understanding Torah. But it has to be in a frame. It has to be in a frame. You cannot skip out. You cannot go out of the frame. We know what happened for those that skip out, that left this frame. Okay? All those moments, I don't want to mention the names, but all the moments that we know, all the movements that they say, yeah, that's not a problem of skipping out a bit out of the frame, and we know what happened. So Chaim HaKadosh says there's 70 different ways of understanding Torah, but you have to be in the frame. Don't skip out. Don't be like the Karaites. Be in this frame. Okay? Bechukotai telechu. Follow the commandments, but give the proper interpretation based on the sources, based on the tradition. That's the fifth interpretation. Nice? So far, so good. 6 is Halimud movil mitzvot umoneh Torah b'kol mitzvot. It says, as we mentioned before, lo amaretz chasid. We said the pious person cannot be a person that doesn't learn Torah cannot be a pious. How can you be a pious if you're not learning Torah? So many times we know in life that pious chassid. So many times we know when a person is returning back to his roots, he wants to swallow the entire world. He wants to do everything. So the Chaim says, step by step. Don't think, I'm Chazar B'Tshuvah, I'm going to do everything. Counsel with a rabbi, do the right thing, and step by step you will get there. So the Chaim HaKadosh says, Bechukotai telechu, step by step. Okay, 7 is a lot of beautiful observations you have in the Chaim HaKadosh, fundamental observations. He says, the 7th one is, there's a story, the Gemara gives us a story about a buyer, that he left his wife, he left his children, and he went for 6 months. He left everyone. 6 months he was going and started to investigate the construction or the way the animal is eating this and that, because he was learning the many laws of Chulin. Masechet Chulin talks about how to slaughter the animal, how does the animal function, how does he eat, how does he digest the food. So he needs to learn all this. So you can't just listen in the Beit Midrash and look at the YouTube in those days. They didn't have YouTube, didn't they? You have to go there physically. You have to see what's going on. So 6 months he was there. You have to leave your place. You have to leave your comfort and go to other places in order to learn Torah. So he says, Bechukotai, if you don't want to learn Bechukotai, telechu, leave your place, go to different places, and that's how you're going to learn Torah. If you know that you're in a place where there's no Torah, what's the point of being there? Okay, 3 times a day you pray, beautiful. But what about Torah? Torah is Doraita. Tefillah is the Rabbanan. Yeah, some say it's Doraita, okay, but Torah, all agree, all agree that Torah is very important. For some reason, people say, okay, we're going to 3 times a day, we pray, go work. But what about Torah? What about Torah? Torah mati alea. What's going to happen with Torah? That's what he says, Bechukotai telechu. If you know that you have to go to a place where they learn Torah, go there. That's בחקותי תלכו. Let's continue with the eighth one. Yeah. Another thing is, we learned that two people are walking the street, they should also learn Torah when they're walking. בלכתך בדרך. בלכתך בדרך. It's very important to learn Torah. I mean, you don't have to constantly talk about Torah. There's a lot of other things that you need to take care of. The car, the parnasa, your wife, children. But don't forget also, when you're walking, there's a commandment of בלכתך בדרך. Few minutes, 1 second, talk about the words of Torah. Say something. And that's why we say, when you leave your friend, don't leave without saying some words of Torah. It's very important to learn Torah. So, בחקותי תלכו. Don't just learn Torah when you're sitting, but also when you're walking. But here we're talking about בלכתך בדרך. בחקותי תלכו. Let's continue a bit more.
Now, didn't Rabbi Tal get in trouble?
Yeah. Okay, let's continue a bit more. 9. Number 9. I think we're going to get to 42, no? I think, no? We have another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes for the pizza. So, okay, 9. Let's talk about the 9th one. See, if you look at Pirkei Avot says, if a person wants to know exactly how to acquire Torah, how to learn Torah, you should go for the 48 principles. Because in Pirkei Avot, we say every year, 48 principles. So, our Chaim HaKadosh says, look, you have to go through those 48 principles. And what part of this learning Torah was joy, lev tov, was glad and heart, is happy, loving your friends, listening. It's very important to listen, right? If you don't listen, you cannot argue, you can understand. One of the problems was Rabbi Akiva student is because they didn't, because they were not listening. There's many things. Challenge your rabbi, respect your students, the students respect the rabbi. There's many 48 miuchena. You don't sleep too much, and don't think about it. So you have to look at for those 48. So Or Chaim says, in order to learn Torah, you should look at those 48 principles. 10. Number 10. Beautiful. Okay. It says, Halimud na'ala al kiyum mitzvot b'far. We know that what the Gemara says, Avera, a sin, can extinguish a mitzvah. Right? If you perform a mitzvah, a commandment, but then after that you commit a sin, so sin many times can extinguish the mitzvah, as opposed to Torah. Torah is something different. Torah, Chaim HaKadosh says, it's internal. It's never gonna extinguish by any sin. Sins cannot override Torah. Mitzvah, a sin can override mitzvah, but learning Torah can never override sin. The sin can never override learning Torah. Learning Torah keneged kulam. We say every morning, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. That's to say, that's why the Rucham explained. In בחקותי תלכו, את מצוותיו תשמור. It's not just enough, just not sufficient to follow mitzvot. It's also very important to learn Torah. Okay, let's continue a bit more. תלכו. תלכו to where? What's the purpose of all of us sitting there learning Torah? Why are we sitting here? We can listen to news, what happened there, what happened in Texas, what happened there. You can listen. Why are we all coming here and sitting here learning Torah? Instead, we can go to the restaurant, eat pizza. We're eating pizza too here, but we can do other things. So why are we sitting here? Why are we sitting here? There's a mission. There's a reason. There's something that we're all gonna have a long life at 120, but after 120, there's something that we have to do. There's some calculation. So you're right. So Hashem will ask this question: what happened? What are you doing? What's the mission? So he says, know eventually where you're going. You're learning Torah בחקותי because Olam Haba, we want to show Hashem, whenever we had free time, I know we're working hard, we have many things to do, we have to take care of the children, we have to do this, but whenever we had free time, we came and learned Torah, and we learned the 42 principles of Chaim HaKadosh. So that's in בחקותי תלכו, know where you're going. 12. להקפיד שהמעשים יהיו מרובים בחוכמה. The Kabbalah says that there's sometimes people that our deeds are more than the wisdom, but we want the wisdom sometimes more than the deeds. Okay, מעשים מרובים בחוכמה, חוכמה מתקרב. So whenever you do more than what you say, some people like speak, talk. But when it comes to reality, okay, what are you doing? Not much. Some people do a lot, and they have small, they're not knowledgeable. That's the right thing. Even if you're not knowledgeable, and if you're not so wise, but if you, whatever you know, you try to do the best, that's the right thing to do. So Chacham HaKadosh says that, where's page 4? Here's page 4. He says that we know you go, this is a famous story of Aristotle. Aristotle in English, Aristotle, no? Aristotle, good, said it right. Okay, so the story is Aristotle, I'm saying Hebrew, Aristotle. He was, of course, very wise, special, unique person, and he will teach his students, but when he will go to his house or the restaurant, he will eat like an animal. And one day the students will sit looking at him and say, is this Aristotle that just told us about those sophisticated, deep matters of physics and all this stuff? Philosophical, yeah, these things. Yeah, that's the same Aristotle. So they told him, Yelamdenu Rabbeinu, Aristotle, please explain to us, why are you acting this way? Why are you acting this way? Aristotle says, look, when I'm teaching. I'm wise and special and unique, and I'm a very distinguished person. But when I'm eating, I'm an animal. We are different. We want our wisdom to have an impact on our deeds, right? That's what the Perkavot teaches us. So if we want to have an impact, that's why the Torah, or Chaim explains, says, don't just look at the commandments and say, okay, I'm learning Torah, now I can do whatever I want. No. You should also perform. You should do according to what you learn. Don't just learn, and then nothing's there. Right? You should also follow what you are doing. That's a beautiful, another observation of the Chaim. You're getting to Bar Mitzvah now, 13. Okay. 13 talks about Keneged Kol HaMitzvot. Now, it brings, it says that we say every morning, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. Okay? And it says that many times we're not unable to do all the mitzvot. Especially now we talk about Parashat Vayikra. Later on, one interpretation he says that Parashat Bereshit is beautiful. Talk about Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, beautiful stories. The 12 tribes, wonderful. Shemot, very, very interesting. Why? Shemot is talking about what? The plague, the 10 that we beat the Egyptians, and redemption, all these beautiful stories. Then we get to Parshat Vayikra. Oh, what is Parshat Vayikra? Oh, that's boring. Nah, what is boring? So Korbanot, Bet HaMikdash, you slaughter this, take the blood. Okay, you know. Go to sleep. That's Parshat Vayikra. Well, Chaim HaKadosh says, no. The attitude has a different attitude. Why? It says, if you will learn and you understand and try to put effort in Parshat Vayikra, that's how he concludes. Parshat Bechukotai is the end of Parshat Vayikra. But here's a very deep lesson. He says, if you're going to learn Parshat Bechukotai in depth about all the korbanot, it will consider as you physically offered the korbanot. V'asitem otam. Or Chaim HaKadosh says, if you learn those commandments, it will be considered as you really fulfill those things, as you really did it. That's another pirush. Okay, let's continue. We have 2 minutes to continue to the one. I think we did a lot. So, oh no, 15. So 15. Torah lo mukom mitzvot. Okay, he says.
Wait, you said limud mitzvah kemo kiyamta.
Yeah, right. So I'm quoting.
You said the opposite.
No. So the Rambam. So he quotes the Rambam. The Rambam says, the Nachmanides says that those that learn Parshat Vayikra, it's boring. It's not so interesting. Yep. I know our dear friend Leo was telling us about Parashat Melachim. This is killing this. This is killing this. It's not so. Yeah, it's kind of a movie for you know. It's yeah. So the Ramban says he's the Ramban that will really give you something very strong. When you learn those things, it's of course even if you're not learning in depth, but he says it's considered not as you kill, but it's considered but it's considered as you really were trying to. If we're talking about Parshat Vayikra, it's kind of offering those korbanot. You really offer the korbanot. We say every morning. We read those korbanot, by reciting those things is considered as you physically offer those korbanot in Bet HaMikdash.
Killing animals, that's the best way.
Okay, yeah, and Rav Kook, by just but Rav Kook says something important. It says that when Bet HaMikdash, the third Bet HaMikdash, we will not kill animals. It will be something different. We will not kill animals. Why? Because we are in a generation where many people have a pity, have mercy on the animals, and we know the Arizal also says many things about animals. So many things will change, but don't worry, we'll be good. Don't think about but they're killing this. So why do we need Bet HaMikdash? Rav Kook says no. Don't think think that way. Just mention it because you put that. Because things will be very satisfied with what's going to happen. That's very, very important of Cook. Let's end with another one. Yeah, are you ready for another one? Okay, another one. הליכה ולימוד יחדיו. says הוא ממליץ על הליכה בדרך בתוך תורה. להיות אנשים שהולכים בדרך יש בין דברי תורה. So we already mentioned that when you're walking, you should learn the Torah. We mentioned that, so he's repeating it again. I don't know why. 17. אם לא תלכו לקיים, תלכו, תחשבו ללכת. כאילו שמעתם מה אתם. It says many times we try to do many things in life, but we're not able. We don't have time. We don't this. So we do things, and we hope that one day we'll have time. We eat, we go to sleep, we do many things, but okay, we don't have time to learn Torah. We have 10 minutes. If you're going to take, if you're going to take this eating, sleeping, and think about, I'm doing it for the sake of Torah. Then in Olam Haba, they will take this sleeping, they will take these pizzas, they will take these falafels, shawarma, the all sushi, and put it, all this delicious food, and put it on the scale, put it on the sides of the merits, zchuyot. They will all be counted as mitzvot, because you were trying. What a wonderful trick. You can eat, enjoy life, and of course, you have to be sincere, you have to be honest, and say to yourself, yeah, whenever I will have opportunity to learn Torah, I will learn Torah. I'm sleeping because I want to learn Torah. I'm working very hard because I want to give food, but because I want to have free time to learn Torah. If we take all those things and put it on the scale, put it where all the merits are, that will really consider as mitzvot, turning something physical to mitzvot. Wonderful observation. And he says, and you perform them, even if you do other stuff, not necessarily mitzvot, but that will consider all chukim and mitzvot.
So that's like for kids who are first learning, you learn a mitzvah today, you do it tomorrow, or you do it later today, because each mitzvah you're learning as a child is new.
That's something different.
So
yeah, that's something different.
Okay, 43.
But no, we're getting 43. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me add my 43. You guys meant 43. My 43 is I went to Israel and I'm reading this parasha twice. I already heard this parasha. Now I'm reading the second time. So listen to that. In בחקותי, if you already learned בחקותי and תלכו, and then you left, you're going back to the United States. את מצוותיי תשמעו ועשיתם אותם. Listen to the parasha the second time. Okay, that's what I'm doing.